Right, okay, how to change your blade in your rotary cutter. So I've got a deluxe OLFA, but the standard version you change the same, and I've got a Fiskars floral one. Now I've got an OLFA blade here. Just open that up, and that'll fit in my Fiskars fine. So to change the blade, make sure it's retracted before you start, so it's not sticking out the end and you're not likely to cut yourself. Now I keep an old box for blades, so like when you empty your little yellow box, I put my old ones into one of these boxes. This one's ready for chucking. You can see how many blades I've changed. I dispose of them in that. I would probably take them to the tip. You could wrap that up in paper, put it in the general rubbish. So this is the blade I'm going to use. So on your Fiskars, this flowery Fiskars, I tend to like to hold my finger against this and then unscrew the back and put that down, and then this just pops out of the front. And then pop off your blade, being very careful not to cut your fingers. Now, a recommendation for using your old blades, if you like to cut out paper patterns with a rotary cutter, your clothes patterns or anything with a rotary cutter, keep a dull blade or two for cutting your your paper patterns out. Don't use your nice new sharp one, because paper can dull your blades. Keep a couple of old blades for that. Maybe keep a separate rotary cutter that you use your dull blade in for cutting out your patterns, your paper patterns. So I've put that in there now and closed that. So now I'm just going to take this one, I'm just going to tip that forward so I don't actually have to touch it. Ooh, I've got two there. So they feel greasy, they've got like an oil on them to stop them sticking together and to stop them, I don't think they rust, but it just keeps them together nicely. Pop one back in there. So, like I say, be super careful because these are razor sharp on the ends. Drop that down onto your rotary cutter. Put this section back through. Hold that in place when you turn it over. Again, make sure it's not sticking out so you're not going to cut yourself. And then holding that in place, just screw your nut back on the other side. So that's now should work. This pulls the cover back on this one like that when you pull the blade. So that's now in place. Remember, every time you use a rotary cutter, every single time you put it down when you've been cutting, cover your blade every single time, because then you're not going to ever grab it by mistake. Get into the habit of doing it every single time you put it down without fail, and it becomes second nature. So that's your Fiskars. This is my OLFA. Yeah, a lot of you can get OLFA cutters that are just like this one as well, but the blade system basically changes pretty much the same. Now this deluxe one's a left-handed and a right-handed. You can use it either side. So this button locks the blade on this one and just pushes it in and out. So I'm going to lock it into place so I can't push it out. Again, there's a nut and there's a washer on this one as well. Just going to hold that while I screw this one off. My blade is retracted in. Screw that one off. Now this one, without having the extra little washers in, I suggest you put it back on your table. Make sure that the way that you took it off. So there's a yellow washer there as well. Put that on there. Just hold up this. I don't know if I can get any more blades in here, but just open that back out again. Tip that out so you don't have to touch, as little as possible. I'll close that up in a minute. And then turn that over and you've got a nut, and then there's a little black washer, and then another washer on top of that. I like to just pile them up in the order that I took them off so that I don't get them mixed up. While that's off, I'm just going to pick out any bits that have got caught in there of fabric or fluff. So again, I'm just going to tip my blade onto there. Put that in place. Now this was on this side, so it's still got my washer attached, so I'm just going to pop that through and then flip that over, hold this. My blade's still retracted there, so I shouldn't cut myself. And then on this side, pop my silver washer, my black washer, and then my nut on top of that. And then that again, press my button, and then that one again is now ready to go. This one automatically retracts when you put it down. If you don't lock it in place with that button, you can lock it open. But if you don't press that button, it automatically retracts every time you put down. So that's quite a good safety feature. But I also, every time I put it down, I press the button when I do it as well to lock it in place. It doesn't matter how many times I pick it up and put it down, I always lock it in place. So there's no way I'm going to cut myself with it. If you've ever cut yourself with one of these blades, you'll not do it again. You'll make sure that you close it up. They are super sharp, so take every precaution you can. Now that's empty, so I could now transfer some of my dull blades into there, ready for disposing of at a later date. So there we go. Always reuse them, and then I'm ready. Buy myself a couple more now. Like I said, don't cut paper with your nice new sharp blades. Use your old ones for that. So there you go. That's how to change the blade in your rotary cutter.